Welcome back to the Six Figure Mastermind. Super glad you're here today because we are covering one of my favorite topics of all time, and that's public speaking. And I've got some masterful, effective public speaking techniques that I kind of have mastered, and I want to give you the inside scoop on, so stay tuned. When you're crafting your signature presentation, there are 9 steps that you need to be aware of. These 9 steps are going to create your masterful transformational presentation in a way that takes your audience on a roller coaster of emotions that they love, and by the end of it, they're going to be clamoring at your doorstep to work with you. Okay? So here's the first step, the enrolling questions. Now, the enrolling questions, there are some keys to that. You want to make sure they can answer with a positive, and you want to make sure it's a universal yes. So you want as many people saying yes as possible. An exaggerated example of this would be, how many of you in this room are breathing right now? Okay, that's a universal yes, something that's safe, everyone can say yes to. Something you don't want to ask, this is a bad example, don't ever ask this. How many of you are really angry at the person you're sitting next to today? Okay. That's a not safe question. Don't ever ask that. No one wants to say yes to that, and you're going to get a lot of marriages in trouble if you do, okay? Enrolling questions are designed to help your audience learn how to play with you. They want to know if you're going to demand a hand raise, and if you hold your hand up until everyone raises their hand, they're going to learn that you're mean business, okay? Your enrolling questions, again, should be universally related to your content, all right? So my first question example about how many of you are breathing today, it's a very broad example, but if I'm speaking about relationships, I can very easily say, how many of you have ever been in any kind of a relationship? Very easy to say yes to, relevant to my content. You're going to ask 3 of those enrolling questions. By the time you get to the 3rd one, they should be giving you an audible response, meaning the last question should say, give me a yes if you, and then ask your enrolling question. And then they say yes, or whatever verbal cue you want to give them. So that's the first step, is ask your enrolling questions. The second step in creating a masterful signature presentation is the introduction. And you'd think that'd be the first step, but no, you want to teach your people how to play with you first. The introduction is then going to introduce yourself as the expert of whatever it is that you're speaking on. The introduction says, my name is Marianne and I'm an expert and international public speaker. Okay? Feel free to claim your expertise. This is where you get to toot your own horn a little bit, even though your MC should be doing you a favor and doing that for you. But you need to claim and own your expert statement. So introduce yourself, what you do, and why you're qualified. After the introduction comes the story. In another video, I talked about chronology versus sequencing, and it's so pivotal and important to nail it right here, because you're kind of going to give away the end of the story before you start the story. You start by giving away your credibility. You say, I've been speaking for 5 years. I've spoken internationally on several stages all around the world, but it hasn't always been easy for me. And then you're going to start that story. So you're going to start off with your credibility statement and then go into your story. Okay, you're going to start telling when it was hard for you and what life was like before you became a public speaker and what you wanted to be when you grew up. Go into that moment. And when you get to the deepest depths of that story, when you start to feel the emotion, when you start to feel all that passion rise within you, you cut it off. That's a state change. You cut it off and then you offer a promise. That promise is going to look like, if I could tell you how I got from that lowest point in my life to speaking on stages all over the world with a message and fire that burns within me, if I could give you then 3 key things that did that for me, how many of you want that information? That's your promise. Remember, you're not promising that their lives will be changed. That's up to them. They need to change their lives. Your promise is that you will deliver what you came here to deliver. After you deliver that promise, you're going to start into the next 3 steps. So we've done enrolling questions, we've done our intro, we've started our story. Now we need to deliver at least 3 pieces of content. Even if you're delivering a single idea, that piece of content needs to have 3 pieces to it, whether it's an exercise, whether it's an experience, whether it's notes that they're taking, whatever it is. Your content should not have more than 5 segments. I think 5 is really pushing it, actually. You can have a bonus piece at the end, and that can be included in your 5, but don't go more than 5 pieces of content. It's not digestible. People can't take it in. So you're going to deliver those 3 chunks of content, and you're kind of going to tell your story as you come out of that low point and go into the high point back where you were in this moment of being that credible speaker. Okay, so you're going to deliver those 3 pieces of content. It can be 3 keys to transformation. It can be the ABCs of relationship with your kids, whatever you want to call it. It's just that 3 chunks of content, your core critical content. After you deliver your content, then you're going to wrap up the hero's journey. Because remember, when we delivered our promise, we cut off the story and we kind of left them in this cliffhanger. So we're going to finish the cliffhanger right now in what we call the end of the hero's journey. And the end of the hero's journey sounds something like this. You know, after I got on that stage for the first time, I'll never forget what it was like to finally own the stage. When I started owning the stage, I had people start asking me to deliver presentations over and over and over again. And I have to tell you that that was the most fulfilling moment of my career. Okay, you're going to share with them the beautiful end of that story. So after you've delivered your content, you've delivered the end of the hero's journey, now it's time for the fun stuff. And I got to tell you, it's fun for me, but it used to make me choke. This is the point where most people choke. This is the call to action. The call to action happens when it's time for people to decide whether or not they want to work with you on a long-term or short-term or further-term basis. The call to action is the point where you say, look, I'm looking for people that want to work with me. I'm looking to fill up my next 5 slots in my schedule with people who feel a drive and a passion for public speaking. If that's you, I'm going to invite you to stand up, go to the back of the room, write down your email, and I'll be contacting you one-on-one this week to see if we can work together. Thank you very much. Okay, you see what I did there? I created a very concise call to action. If I were speaking on an actual stage, I would give those people instructions 3 times to do the same thing before I actually had them stand up, move to the back of the room, and put their email down. I'm going to tell them 3 times because the collective mindset of the audience needs to know that, because they're all from different perspectives and they all have different things going on in their minds. So this is the most important thing. Call to action, you're going to do it 3 times before anyone moves, all right? After you've done that call to action, you get off the stage. Don't keep talking, okay? If you keep talking after you've done your call to action, you've just doused your flames. You do that call to action, you say thank you very much, you exit the stage, the MC takes over, and you're done. And then, of course, you've got your follow-ups after that. So to recap, the 9 parts of the signature presentation. You've got your enrolling questions. You've got your introduction. You're going to start your story. Then you're going to make your promise. Then you've got your 1, 2, 3 pieces of content. Then you're going to wrap up your hero's journey. And finally, at the end, you're going to create your massive, powerful call to action. If you do this, you're going to have people asking you to come deliver your presentation time and time again. Hey, thanks for tuning in today. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and ring the bell so you get notified of when my next video comes out. Here's the thing, guys. I'm looking for the next powerful speaker. I'm looking for the person that has a message burning inside of them, that wants to get it out on stages, maybe even wants to get clients because of it. If that's you, hit up the link in the description below, because I'm going to be contacting you to see how we can work together to craft that masterful signature presentation and get you on stage in front of audiences wherever in the world you want to be. I'll talk to you soon.